unless we learn to pay our taxes and we can get our tax to GDP ratio above 15-16%, we're not going anywhere, unfortunately. हम इसी तरह will be chasing our tail for the next 50 years as well, and a country of massive potential isn't going to go anywhere. We have developed a mantra that everyone's a thief. Everyone's not a thief. Everyone in any part of the world will cut corners if you let them. That's human nature. हमारी एक तो एनफोर्समेंट बहुत कमज़ोर है, लेकिन जब होती है तो इतनी ज़ोर से होती है कि people say, so whether it's the civil service, whether it's people who have to make decisions, they get scared and they're worried that if I take this decision, am I going to go to jail? I mean, somebody's going to question me, so they rather not take the decision. Who can blame them? So we have to remove this fear factor from our decision-making process, whether it's the civil service, the business community. लेकिन डंडे से सारा काम नहीं हो सकता जिंदगी में, right? I mean, if you run even a small business, if you keep whacking your people who work for you every day, they'll leave. Because they're not slaves yet. You haven't bought them, they're not bonded people, no, they're free people. You treat them badly, they have a right to go. You don't pay them well, you have bad working conditions, etc. यही होता है ना. So if the same psyche should be applied, that you've got to cajole people into action and motivate people. You can't beat them into action. When governments try to run things, they generally end up, because of the way the processes are, they tend to be less efficient. And that's why privatization has worked, or private sectors have worked and been successful in bringing down the cost of per transaction in almost everything. We look at the sovereign sectors, the ministries, as being the owners and managers of those assets. That's not the role of ministries around the world anymore. So you have regulators and you have authorities that monitor price, which give price approval, जैसे हमारे यहाँ NEPRA है, OGRA है type, वो होते हैं. And then you have the policy framework developers, and those are the ministries. And everything else, the playground is left open to the private sector. Say, okay, within these parameters, please come and invest. But you've got to make the parameters interesting enough for people to want to invest. And I think Pakistanis in general are, once again, they're not a laid-back, lazy people, ambitious people. थोड़े over ambitious होते हैं कभी in terms of cutting corners and things. वो थोड़ा DNA fault आ चुका है. But overall, people want to do well and they want to progress. When we were young, 17, 18, so उस वक्त 3-4 careers होते थे हर शख्स के. You were either going to be a doctor, or an engineer, or an accountant, or something similar, right? So they were kind of predefined, very tight cylinders, or you were in business, etc. We were not a business family, so I think somehow I was never really bad at numbers, so somehow accountancy descended upon me. That's the cylinder I fell into. So when I went first after A-levels to London, I went to study accountancy. So I got a diploma in accountancy, and then I did articles for a while, but I found it incredibly boring. So I quit that, and then I went to college in the States, and there I studied business, and then I discovered that more than anything else, I was more inclined to finance and marketing, and some of the numbers began to gel together. So that sort of, so it wasn't a childhood dream, like people say, मैं बड़ा होकर डॉक्टर बनूंगा या मैं इंजीनियर बनूंगा. मेरा ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. So I think I stumbled into it, I have to be honest. मुझे याद है कि when I graduated, I must have applied to 500 places. और उस ज़माने में कोई email नहीं होता था. So you had to print out your resume, put it in an envelope, either mail it out with a covering letter, and so on and so forth. And I got a call from Citibank in New York saying कि आप interview के लिए आ जाएं. मैं चला गया. I had no clue about what banking was, except a place where you go to cash a check and take out money and deposit money if you have had some. हमारा तो in तो नहीं होता था, out ही होते थे थोड़े. But somehow I think things worked out and they said, look, we'd like to offer you a job and work for us in the Middle East. So Citi, I worked overseas, Saudi, then Turkey, then back to Pakistan. A couple of events happened as a result of which I then decided that I would leave Citi, and we started, my partner and I started a stockbroking and investment banking company called Global Securities. और उस ज़माने में पाकिस्तान, that was 94, उस ज़माने में पाकिस्तान was just waking up in terms of the international markets. And a lot of the international institutions were keen to come to Pakistan. So we were very fortunate that we just ran into UBS through a friend who used to work there. And they said, we would like to buy a chunk of your firm. So first we said, yeah, we felt great, but we said, ये तो फिर वही Citibank type चीज़ ना हो जाए कि हम वहीं से निकले फिर दोबारा एक दूसरे डब्बे में आ जाएंगे. So we thought about it, but I think the temptation in the sense of learning from a much better and a global institution was just too much for us. So we took that offer, and then so Global became UBS Securities Pakistan for a few years. I say if I trace my life, it's nothing but blessings. तो हमने एक leasing company होती थी NDLC, which was Pakistan's largest leasing company at that time. We bought through Global a third share in that, and we were able to convince the government at that time कि leasing companies को आप banks में merge करने दें, because banking को leasing की इजाज़त मिल गई थी. So we then merged NDLC with two tiny branches of a Bangladeshi bank called IFIC, and that became a commercial bank. But it was a tiny dot in the ocean, commercial bank. But it was a commercial banking license, and so we did that. And then Crédit Agricole, the French bank, was selling, so we bought them. And then once again, I have to say, good fortune, right? No brilliance on anybody's part. My first boss, when I was in Saudi with Citi, he was also my tutor at the training center, had joined Temasek, the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Singapore. So he called me up, literally, this is out of the blue, right? It's like a storybook. He called me and said, Iqbal, I'm Francis. I said, wow, Francis, how are you? Everything okay? He said, yeah. He told me I've joined this, that, and the other. And we want to come to Pakistan. So the first guy I thought of was you, because we had a good relationship, we worked together. He said, I'm looking to buy into a bank. So I looked up in the sky. I said, this is for real? पता नहीं कहाँ से ये आ गया हमारे नसीब में. So I said, look, you're more than welcome to come and join us and look at our bank. It's a small bank, but so he came. And so they entered, they bought 25% of the bank first. And then, we kept growing the bank and they kept putting more capital in. So they became majority shareholders. And then in 2007, we bought Pikik. So that was 4 years after NIB was born. So we were the 10th largest bank in terms of asset size through acquisitions, basically. I can't say that in the short run I see a cannibalization of the traditional sector by the digitalized sector. But I can say that I think if we hit the right sweet spot in terms of the offering, right, then we will see that other sector explode. I think it'll be through the platforms of the existing banks, because I can't see a challenger bank succeeding here because they haven't succeeded anyway. So I can't see a challenger bank working, but I think the platforms that people are creating, if they team up with the right banks, then we'll see not an explosion this way, but an explosion this way. So we can harvest a lot more people into the financial sector. So if we find the solution, the cash society will stop, the transactions will flow into some kind of a digital network, There'll be greater documentation of the economy. My first point, taxation should increase, and then we move this big wheel forward. More collaboration, because this generation, I think, is growing up in a more collaborative world, a world where human rights are greater, the respect for life is greater, the respect for nature is greater, and so on. So it's a much more warmer, softer generation, I think, around the world. I don't know, Pakistan, I would like to see more of that here as well. I'd like to see less corner cutting, people working harder, longer, and actually doing the right thing. I think वो हमारे थोड़ा सा culture उसमें out हो गया कि we've observed people doing it, so we say it's okay, but it's not okay because it doesn't last. So lasting things need to be built on good foundations. So I think I just like to see the younger generation be more accommodative of each other, be more respectful to each other, work together as much as they can, and work with passion to build things, not necessarily to get to the point quickly. Because when you get to the point, then you look around and say, okay, now what? And you haven't really built the steps that would provide a great foundation for whatever you're trying to do. It's very, very critical that we do that. That I was able to stop working when I chose to. And I'm very lucky that I didn't have to keep working. So I could say that my greatest satisfaction was, I built a bank, right? I mean, how many people can say they were lucky to do that? Or, I built an investment banking business, or we did this. But, those are transactional things. And many people have done much more, right? So I would say in the context of the global comparison, I did nothing. But the fact that I was able to live my life on my principles and the way I wanted to, for me, that is the greatest satisfaction.